so glad. Like, as much as this is our third, it's our third rescheduled day. We were meant to do Monday, then we went to do yesterday.
Yeah.
And we've settled on today. And boy, am I really happy that this... I mean, we're a week late for our own schedule, not for whatever. But Monday would have been impossible.
Yeah.
And I think even yesterday would have been quite tough. Not because of life, because of the world we live in, because of how horribly hot it was.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, it doesn't happen that often, but when it does happen, we get those little mini heat waves. It's unbearable.
It is.
And Americans, you can say
I'm
like.
not justifying it to anybody. It's hot. It's hot for us, and that's as much as it needs.
Yes, for us it is. Yes, you can go on as much as you like. That we're weak and you don't live in Texas, and but
yeah, no one cares.
Our houses don't crumble with like the slightest push or wind, so they retain everything, and it's hot. And when you got sitting next to a PC, it gets even hotter.
Yeah. Could definitely do without that.
So 100%. It's a lot cooler today. What are we looking at today? What are we looking at? Temps. Can you find it on Windows? Oh, there it is. 18. That's all right.
Yeah, we're a little bit lower than that at 14.
Well, you're north of the wall, so.
Yes. Well, not quite, but yeah.
Actually, you're right. Not quite. You're near the wall, but you're what was it called? What was the place next to the wall called?
Ow.
My knowledge of Game of Thrones is just...
Oh, we're talking about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, because I'm quite a way off the wall, really. It must be... How far is Hadrian's Wall from here? It must be about 100 miles.
Any of you folks that don't know, there is a big wall in the north of England. Not quite the Great Wall of China, but it is a wall nonetheless.
It is definitely a wall. I used to have a piece of it, actually.
You thief! Are you the one that chopped down that tree as well?
No, certainly not. Certainly not. But we did excavate a portion of it for work once.
Quote unquote excavate it. Yeah, needed to for science purposes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's not all still above ground. Some of it isn't there anymore.
No, the earth has taken it.
Yeah.
But we digress. It was too hot, so once again, this episode has been delayed about a week, and it is the 28th as of this recording. That means June's 2 films under will come in July. Yes. And speaking of which, by the way, welcome back to the Dreadcast, everyone, you lovely, lovely people. My name is Tom. This is Aidan.
Hello.
You should know about it by now, because I shouldn't have to keep saying that, because you're regulars.
Yeah, everyone that's listening to regulars, Tom. They might be new people.
Well, they should assume what our names are. Just
I hope they assume I'm called Dragon.
Dragon. Okay, right. Welcome back to the Dreadcast, everyone. My name is Tom, and this is Dragon.
Hello.
Well, a nerd. And before we get into today's Treehouse specials, yes, a little bit of business to take care of. June's 2 films under will be in July because life. That is always our reasoning, but it's the truth because life. But it will be coming. And update on that, I have a film.
You have a film.
And I haven't told you yet, and I want to tell you today.
You do need to tell me. I have not got one yet, but I will.
Well, we have time.
I will do it. I'll pick this weekend. I will choose this weekend. But yeah, if I know what yours is in advance of my choice, then that avoids potential unpleasantness.
All got time. So let's recap. 2 films under our brand new series. We have a, shall we say, a horror tombola. It is a raven-sized coffin. You know, the bird, Raven. I don't know what else you would do. Not the TV show Raven. The bird.
Oh, I used to love that TV show.
We'll talk about it when we talk about Tucker. Okay.
Oh no! Hang on a minute. I'm talking about the mythical Celtic crystal maze.
Oh my god, the
style.
other Raven.
Yeah, not that so Raven. I'm talking about the Tanglehoof Raven.
Just a guy with a staff telling kids where to go, right?
It was great.
Yeah.
I absolutely adored it. I used to watch it all the time. as students at university.
You're wild. So, this is our coffin. We have loads of criteria topics in here. We pick 2 on each, and then we have to basically... well, in fact, no, we changed the rules, actually. We first pick a decade. 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties, or 10s. Then we pick a topic. And we then have to venture out to find a very much less mediocre horror film. Bottom of the barrel, bargain bin horror film.
Yeah.
From a streaming service or anywhere, really. And we'll put them up against each other, review them, and we'll pick a winner. So, the last picks were... Do you remember? Off the top of your head?
We've got a Cursed Object movie.
Yep.
From the 2010s, I believe.
We do indeed. And by changing the rules last time, we thought we were making it easier. Oh, it still wasn't easy.
I'm not moving it again. This is what it is now. This is just what it is.
No, I think we're right. We are right, but it wasn't as easy as I thought. But I'm putting that down to 2 things. Freely admit, knowledge of shitty films isn't as great, but it will grow. And the way streaming services, and this has been going on for a long time, categorize and basically just lay out their UI. Whether it be the website or whether it be like on your Fire Stick or whatever. It's awful trying to find films.
It is. They hide things away in weird categories, and not everything. Like you know, what we're primarily looking for, horror films. You go through the horror films on Netflix, and there is a fraction in that category compared to what there actually is on the entire service. Yeah, they're terrible, and they seem to shoehorn several category or a film into several categories. As well. It's weird.
It's a horror, comedy, romance, sci-fi.
Yeah, I think at one point, I think it was Iron. Is it Iron Sky? That weird sci-fi.
The
Nazis
indie
on the moon one.
Yeah. The indie. I think it was an indie, like a Kickstarter Indiegogo that then blew up. Yeah.
That was in like every single category on Netflix. That was a romance. That was a historical film. That was absolutely everything.
I mean, there's that classic meme of Netflix of type in what film you're looking for. Yeah, you want that? We haven't got it, but you could type it in and we'll give you something else. Like when you're typing your film in, it's like it give you like search results as you're typing in.
Yeah.
So let's say Halloween. You do HAL and it will Halloween H2O. We haven't got any of them. We're just letting you know what they could be.
Yeah, here are some films that are nothing like those, but
yeah. Wow.
Here's
How
Have
to
You
Train
Seen
Your Dragon?
Iron Sky?
Yeah. So it took me a while. I told you I've got one, and I've also got a backup. So my pick is.
Why do you need a backup? In case I picked it was for the one that you were going to tell me what it is.
It was more so for you, just in case you actually couldn't find one, and we had another clown.
Yeah, that was difficult.
What was the other pick? Clowns, the last episode.
Clown jamboree. I can't remember.
Clowns and something else. 90s.
No, it was a year.
1995. Yeah. So I got it as a backup just in case. So we have for me 2019 horror film called Polaroid.
Okay.
Polaroid is an American supernatural horror directed by blah 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 Lars Klevberg and based on a 2015 short film of the same name. The film follows high schooler Bird Fitcher.
That's a real name. Yes.
Who is given a vintage Polaroid camera that holds dark and mysterious secrets.
Oh.
He soon realizes that those who get their picture taken by it are met by a tragic death.
Wasn't that a Goosebumps book?
I feel like this has been everywhere.
Let's say cheese and
die.
Say
cheese and die. Yes.
The Goosebumps book.
I believe that was a yellow cover. I think that was my first ones.
Oh, I can't remember that much in detail. But anyway, go on. Tell me what the backup is then. I promise I am going to do my homework. But
the backup I think may be worse than this.
Let's just hear what it is anyway for shits and gigs.
By the way, you notice this is 2019. This was just at the end.
Yeah.
So the backup is Hellraiser Revelations.
Oh, okay.
Without Doug Bradley.
Yeah.
The worst looking Pinhead you will ever see. Cursed item, easily done. 2011, and this film would be at the bottom of a bin. Just because it says Hellraiser doesn't mean it's good.
Not at the bottom of a movie bin, just the bottom of a bin. Oh, I mean, that is a bad Pinhead, isn't it?
Horrific. But I kept it as backup rather than the primary because I thought Polaroid. It says it's a shitty Hellraiser film, but it's still Hellraiser. So we want to.
Yeah, it's still just, a big name franchise. I think the aim is to try and
that'll be our break the glass in case of emergency. You know, we need it. So yeah,
I will. I'm going to do my homework this weekend.
No worries.
Properly, and we'll let you know what we've got.
Yeah, looking forward to that. You probably haven't got anything to the table this week because you've been working, I assume.
I have been working. It was my birthday. I aged.
Was it now?
Yes.
Was it someone's birthday?
It was. It was mine.
Would someone like to unveil what they received for their
it's
birthday?
in the other room. I can.
You haven't even got your prop ready.
I thought it was in here. All my other presents are. Just bear with.
We'll be right back, folks.
There's good reason for it not being in the room.
It's because he's been listening to it. That's why.
Exactly.
Been listening to it on his his portable CD player
on my boombox.
Oh,
but there we go. The soundtrack to one of the greatest movies ever made.
Now, what's the movie for the audio listeners?
Valentine. Obviously.
They would have known that. They would have known that.
The clue was in me saying the greatest film.
So the backstory to myself gifting you the Valentine OST is that it became a bit of a running gag when we did the Valentine episode, which you can find here, by the way, folks, because it was quite fun, if I remember rightly. It was a fun one. We were looking at merch, and there was so much merch out there for Valentine.
For Valentine.
I accidentally bought myself the novel.
Yeah.
By that means, I then bought you the T-shirt for Christmas.
Gifted me the T-shirt for Christmas,
and now you've got the soundtrack.
And now I've got the soundtrack, which came with, I don't know if you can see it, but there is some like weird stain on it, like it's gravy or something or other. I don't know.
Now, I did see that on the I got it from Amazon. On the Amazon, you could get multiple pictures of your item. Yeah. And I looked in. I was like, is that artwork? Is that like creative artwork part of the CD packaging, or is that blood? Is that dry blood? That's awesome if it is.
When I first opened it, my first reaction was, "Oh, there's some kind of blood spatter effects on here. That's kind of cool and unique. I've never seen that before." Yeah. And then I realized that actually, no, it's probably old barbecue sauce or something. I don't really want to know what it is, but it's there.
That's the good stuff.
It is genuinely a banging soundtrack, but I mean,
it is in our eyes, yeah.
Yeah, you know, if you were into new metal, basically, we've got Rob Zombie on there, we've got Disturbed, we've got Static X, Linkin Park, Deftones, Marilyn Manson.
Sorry, what Linkin Park song was on there?
Linkin Park's song is "Pushing Me Away."
I was going to say it had to be Hybrid Theory, yeah.
Marilyn Manson's on there. Soulfly. And there's a bunch of other stuff, but I've got to say it's not bands I've heard of. But
it's an absolute banger of an album.
I mean, yeah, it is genuinely.
Who else has got that?
Nobody. That's unique. That's all mine.
You're damn right it is. You realise this is now going to be a running bit until there is no more merch. Until
between us we own every bit of Valentine's merch.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I'm all for that.
Well, happy birthday again to Dragon of the Dreadcast.
Thank you very much.
What else did you get? You got some.
I got a lot of like folk horror stuff. So we've got a new mug that's got some skeletons on it.
Beautiful. Watch out! A skeleton.
That's a nice little reference,
isn't it?
We've got a Live Deliciously coaster.
I plan to.
Not much. I mean, a bunch of other sort of artwork, witchy imagery and stuff, and the box set of King of the Hill.
That's DVD or Blu-ray or?
It's DVD, but it's all 13 seasons of it.
There were 13.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there were only like 7 or 8. Wow.
No,
okay, that's
a hell
cool.
of a lot.
That's cool.
So, because it's not on any streaming service, and I was really annoyed about it, and I was desperate to watch.
There we go.
I was desperate to watch it again, so I was like, right, get me that.
Physical media.
So
good call.
Yeah, it was good.
How is King of the Hill not on?
I don't know, and it was. I was watching something the other day. I can't remember which one it was now, but Paramount. We got a free trial for Paramount Plus.
Same.
And on there, Beavis and Butthead's on there. The new Beavis and Butthead is on there because they had that comeback with it. Daria's on there.
So they've got all the old MTV shows then.
So basically, everything that Mike Judge did, apart from King of the Hill. So. Yeah, all both Beavis and Butthead movies and all sorts. So I was like, you know what? This is an outrage. Yeah, King of the Hill's not out there anywhere. Well,
the problem is you've got all these streaming services that you end up spending maybe £8 to £10 on, because the fact you can't find King of the Hill on anything else, but you can find something on this other service B that isn't on service A, and you end up paying for so many streaming services that you've basically paying for another cable subscription that is way more expensive than your normal cable subscription, and this is why physical media rules. Yep. I mean, I started watching Yellow Jackets on Paramount Plus, and TV show, and
it's any good. I've been sort of umming and ahhing about that.
It's Lost plus Lord of the Flies plus Alive.
Presumably
I was hoping
with like that Riverdale teen drama kind of.
No, it's a bit more than that. It's a bit more watchable than Riverdale teen drama. It's a bit more like a sort of HBO sort of drama, like the way it's written,
fair enough.
But it's Showtime as well, and Showtime do good. I mean, Showtime did Twin Peaks: The Return. I will always vouch for that. I was expecting, hoping for something a bit more horror related. It's not. The longer you get into, the more you get into it, the more you start to realize, oh, this isn't really. This is going down more of a falling apart between the group. It's a plane crash. It's set within a plane crash in the woods of a high school female soccer team crashing in the woods, and it's like trying to survive.
Right.
But there's mysterious aspects. Oh, what's this? What's going on here? We're seeing things. My problem. It cuts back and forth between the future and when the plane crashed.
Oh, you can never follow that.
The plane crashed at 96. It follows in the future at 2021. It's not that much the following. It's like, okay, I know 4 of them survived then.
Oh, yeah.
I know what they're doing. The mystery kind of goes.
Yeah.
I can segue though, because Juliette Lewis is in it, and she is fantastic in From Dusk Till Dawn. Nice. I picked up the Blu-ray trilogy of From Dusk Till Dawn. That was a planned segue. That was a happy accident.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I have them both. I have all 3 on DVD, but I wanted.
Is that all 3? Is there only 3?
Yeah, there is 3, and the TV show that got cancelled after 1 season, which was great as well. But I mean, the third one's not great, but I quite like it.
I think I've seen. Is the third one the prequel one?
Yeah, the second one is the bank.
Is the bank one? I have seen them all. I think.
I mean, the first one is top tier, incredible. But they're all watchable. But I think as well, I mean, just it's nice to have it on Blu-ray. There's a lot more special features on here.
Yeah.
My one grievance:
good stuff.
You buy physical media. I got it in the packaging, and I heard it rattling. You can hear.
Yeah.
Part of the casing is broken inside. So it meant the disc was flying around everywhere.
Yeah, that's always a risk, isn't it? Getting stuff like that through the post.
Yeah. One more thing for me before we move on. I watched a film that I thought I'd watched before.
Oh yeah.
Realised I hadn't, and it is one of the French extreme horror films from the mid 2000s.
Oh yes.
And it is superb. Frontiers. I honestly, I'd probably, if you're, there's no if. You folks out there who listen to us weekly and listen to us since day one, I've probably said many times, oh yeah, I love High Tension, Martyrs, Frontiers. Yeah, apparently I'd never seen it. I completely got it wrong. I'd like to backtrack and issue an apology. Yeah, I'd like to issue an apology here. Thanks. Statement being released soon on all social media platforms. No, it's superb. It is basically Texas Chainsaw Massacre 74, but done in its own way. Different setting, different premise, but it's got like a scenario where a captured victim escapes, young girl escapes, running through the field. Finds someone driving in a car, hails it down, gets in, hey, take me to the police. Turns out to be part of the villains, much like the cook in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
So little aspects like that. It's an evil family just kidnapping people for the sake of it, but it's great. I really liked it, really enjoyed it. No, I wouldn't say no too much gratuitous over the top violence. There's not like, I want to say rape for the sake of rape. There's no like rape in it. You know what I mean by I say this? Just for the sake of it, where it becomes uncomfortable and I don't really want to watch this anymore. It's a good slasher, good violent horror film, really.
Cool.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
Good stuff.
That is on Prime, by the way, folks, if you want to watch that.
Let's give that a watch.
Right.
We'll check that out.
That is about it for me. Shall we get on to some Simpsons?
Let's get into it.
So, from what I've learned from these two tree houses, I don't know if you felt the same, 9 and 10. But in fact, no. Let's say the last 2 episodes we did, which featured 4 tree houses, which was 5, 6, and 7 and 8. Yeah. We were kind of both on the same page of like we're at peak now. We're at the real good stuff. The good stuff. These are still good, but you really start to notice. I find a difference in the characters, the writing, comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they're not even no Twilight Zone, things like that. No Twilight Zone ripoffs, things like that.
No, if we're saying that the previous ones were, the peak, the climbing up the roller coaster, we're definitely starting
very steadily
on that. We're on that hold just over the peaking over the brow now. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think most people will agree. Most Simpsons fans agree that the series kind of peaks around series 10, 11, maybe a couple of odd episodes, 12, and then you kind of the best days are gone. And then looking purely at the specials, then there's not really any reason to disagree. And funnily enough, I was thinking that as I was watching it, and then I just had a look through the rest of the episodes
from the seasons.
From the, is it season 11?
So 9 was in season 10.
So 9 is in 10.
Yeah, they're always like one behind.
One, yeah. And Treehouse of Horror 10 is in 11. And I was going through, and I think there's only a couple of episodes that I was like, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. And there's lots of those, but there are lots of those sort of silly moments. Like this series has the episode where Homer joins the motorcycle gang or starts a motorcycle gang.
That's the episode that a lot of people credit as this is ridiculous now.
Which I like the episode generally, but it has that moment fighting with the motorbikes.
Yep.
I think, and it's one of those moments where people go, "This is it. This is
this
the moment.
is it. This is it.
This is the moment." But
yeah.
But it does. But I do think there are some good episodes still in this series. When Homer becomes a food critic, I like that. I do like that one. The Tamako episode is quite funny.
I love bagels. I love hot dogs with mustard and cheese.
I mean, Maud getting killed with the t-shirt cannon.
I mean, that's hilarious.
There are. It's not awful. No footlongs. It's not. And the Spring Break episode, which I think is absolutely fantastic.
Is that the one where he's having a mental breakdown and then goes to...
Yes, and they go to Spring Break.
And Kid Rock's
Well, they go to Florida for him to relax, but it happens to be during Spring Break.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yes,
that's it.
Kid Rock's in it with the hard-ass sheriff and the alligator that they kill.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, and I do love that episode. So it's not awful, but it starts getting to the point where it's more obvious, like misses than hits, and
we're not getting any higher now.
Yeah,
we're not getting any higher at all. You mentioned the key word, I think, which I always use for this point onwards: silly, and I notice it a lot more with Homer's character.
Yeah,
Homer's always come across as like, he is a good father, he's a great father, but he has flaws.
Yeah.
But he really flaws are starting to become a bit more goofy, a bit more silly, a bit more kooky.
I think it starts to become more of a cartoon, to be quite honest. I think the writing of the earlier series, it's a sitcom. It's an animated sitcom.
Yeah.
And there are still cartoonish elements to it, but the way the characters interact and the writing is very human and is very real. And I think as we get on over this hill now, we do start to see just wackiness and silliness for the sake of it, and it does become a lot more cartoonish. So yeah, it's and I think we are at the point of the last Halloween ones that I've seen now. So
oh really? Literally, like you don't think you've seen any more Halloween specials past this?
I may have, but I think they're going to be less familiar.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
If I have seen them, I don't think I'll remember them as much or as clearly.
Okay, I understand. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, then I mean, like we said, the last 4/2 episodes we did will always be in your mind, no matter what.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like we said, they're still good to talk about. Treehouse of Horror 9. These are, I believe, all pretty much unique stories, which like I said, we don't get any more Twilight Zone. We get a few references here and there, but we don't get any full rip-offs, especially in this one.
See, I'm surprised at that because this, the first story, Hell to Pay.
Great title. Great title.
But this feels very much like it could be a Twilight Zone riff. Not necessarily a hair transplant being evil, but I'm pretty sure there are Twilight Zone or something out there where somebody gets like a heart transplant and becomes evil, or some sort of phantom limb kind of scenario.
Face Off.
Face Off. I mean, there's that League of Gentlemen episode with the arm transplant. So I do feel like the stories have been done in other media, but it's whether this is definitely a parody from it or not.
Well, I mean, from the grand amount of research that I did about that much, I couldn't find anything that related to it being a parody of anything. Which is fine. I mean, it's not so much a case of it shows that they can't create anything themselves. They're still entertaining.
It is a parody.
Is it now?
It's a parody of an Amazing Stories episode by the same name, I believe, which was a Steven Spielberg directed series, which I think has popped up before.
I believe it has, yeah.
As a thing, but again, it's like I guess Twilight Zone-esque show that Spielberg directed.
You notice how we do these live, folks?
Of course.
Professionalism.
But yeah, so that is it does have a parody, and the title is exactly the same as well. It's Hell to Pay.
I'm just gonna open
about
one sec. I'm so hot.
No worries.
Sorry, I had to.
It's fair enough, mate. It is the episode of Amazing Stories. It was called Hell to Pay, with a balding accountant, Murray Bernstein, recently purchasing a hairpiece that drives him to murder 3 lawyers. So that is good.
I think this is the strongest, in my opinion, of the 3 stories we get with this Treehouse. In my opinion, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not the strongest Treehouse, to be fair, and I think, like you said earlier when we were talking, it's not. It was hard to take many notes on these. I feel like I started just writing down funny gags I liked, which it kind of takes away from the fact we were trying to talk about the horror aspects and.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much the same thing I was doing. I find the other 2 stories to be quite tedious, to be perfectly honest.
The middle one especially.
The middle one especially, but the last one, I think the last one, the only thing that's really got going for it is the now incredibly dated Jerry Springer reference, which at the time it's like Austin Powers when they do the Jerry Springer skit on that. And it's kind of amusing to see
still
characters. Yeah. It's the characters and they're going on the Jerry Springer show, so obviously they're going to fight and swear and ha, that's funny. But that's the only thing that episode's got going, really. It's pretty rubbish.
I mean, we don't have to get like shot for shot, bit by bit throughout these. But I mean, for one thing, we get a brand new. They've completely. I think we had this before. They completely got rid of the graveyard intros now. I think we had that a couple of Treehouse of Horror ago. And this one starts with Bart writing on the chalkboard in blood.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it is Treehouse of Horror, right? He's written the Simpsons Treehouse special, Halloween special. I believe he has.
Yeah,
I've got it here. That's it. And then basically we get the normal intro, and then all the way back they all get killed, apart from Marge.
They all get killed.
Bart falls off the car. Lisa gets knocked off her bike, and Homer gets crushed by Marge driving.
I mean, presumably Marge dies in the crash.
Oh, she's got a big old smile on her face when she's doing it. But waiting for them on the couch is Freddy and Jason.
Yes.
I wonder how they get away with that.
I don't know. Ask permission, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, Simpsons were part of Fox.
And
Freddy's New Line.
Yes, Freddy's New Line. There's
Jason.
Probably some crossover somewhere, isn't there? There'll be some.
Well, Jason would have been Paramount.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, I always wondered how they get away with that. Maybe it's a small fee to pay for licensing, or because you think about it with Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace, it's not Freddy.
No.
It's a likeness.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point of all these parodies, isn't it? It's to not completely copy. It's just a parody and
I guess I don't know whether there's probably some wiggle room if it's parody rather than like straight up imitation, isn't it? So, or like you say, maybe they just the Simpsons again. We're talking however you feel about it. The Simpsons is a juggernaut of media and pop culture. So I think if the Simpsons wants to put your character in an episode, there's probably not many people that say no. Really, Halloween special, Simpsons want to stick Freddy in it. Sure, New Line are going I did even wonder if it was a sneaky little cameo by Robert Englund doing the voice in him.
Did you find out if it was at all? Or?
I don't think it is, no. But but I did wonder. I think it's just somebody doing a reasonable impression.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, I think if the Simpsons want you in there, then they can get it really.
Yeah, without any trouble.
So yeah, hell to pay. So Homer, what happens? The episode opens with Snake robbing the Quickie Mart.
Putting nacho cheese through his hair.
Well, no, he's not robbing the Quickie Mart, is it? That's the thing. No. He's smoking. He lights up a cigarette, and Wiggum comes in and arrests him for smoking a cigarette, as well as burning down an orphanage and blowing up a bus full of nuns.
Hey, that was in self-defense.
But that was in self-defense. So yeah, he as he's being arrested, he basically vows revenge on all the witnesses. So that's Apu, Mo,
Scuzzbag Mo,
Scuzzbag Mo, who's looking for that cereal for people with syphilis.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that pesky Chief Wiggum, Bart would have got away with it. But he makes a point of pointing out
kids crack him up.
the Bart's also there. And you too, little dude. So yeah,
totally waste you.
Snake vows revenge, and is sentenced to death via electric chair, which is televised.
It's like a variety show.
It is like a variety show.
Yeah.
So yes, the execution is televised. There's another little gag about secondhand smoke with everybody coughing on the fumes of.
That's a good joke. I like that one.
The snake frying away, and Homer gets the hair transplant he's been waiting for as a result of Snake's organs being sort of harvested for reuse, I guess.
I love the part of Marge. They found a donor. It's hair.
I love the fact that we get Dr. Nick Riviera performing the transplant with a pizza cutter.
Yep. Well, what else is he going to use? He went to upstairs medical college.
And yeah, Homer gets some swanky new hair. He's very hunky. He looks like Roger Moore. But yeah, the roots of the hair sort of take over his brain, and he essentially morphs into Snake several times and attempts to kill, or does succeed in killing Scuzzbag Mo. And Apu. And then... Well,
yeah. Sorry.
I know I said, and then eventually comes for Bart. So yeah, it's a pretty simple story. Possessed by a hairpiece, and goes on a murderous rampage. I do like Mo and his syphilis O's, or penicillos, I think is the name of the cereal.
I love that they continued that joke.
Yeah, it's a nice little.
It's so simple.
Because it's a funny enough little one-line throwaway gag in the first instance.
Yeah.
When he asks for it, and then we later see, yes, there is actually a cereal.
There's a cereal for
people with syphilis. Yeah, that is good. But yeah, it's a pretty simple story. It clips along. Apu gets killed. We have the gag with Wiggum drinking the slushy, drinking the Slurpee.
He did not suffer.
No, it looks pretty much like he suffered to me, Chief.
It's just Apu, like half his body face down in the top of the slushy machine.
His legs are coming out. Yeah.
While they're slurping on some.
And this Wiggum drink. How long were you going to let? And then immediately goes back to drink it as well. I do like the end of this where Homer, basically to sort of save Bart, barricades his bedroom door, nails his bedroom door shut with him inside, which is like a stupid Homer gag in the first instance. But then obviously when he turns, nobody can get out either. So he's chasing him around the room. Lisa, I do like the moment where Lisa gets cut off as well when she's basically trying to explain. Yeah. Oh, the hair's been taken off, and she's like, "Shut up, Lisa! Everybody knows." Oh,
please, Lisa.
We've all worked this out. So Homer rips off the hairpiece, and the hairpiece is still sort of moving and goes for Bart, and then Homer is just wailing on Bart, just punching him in the face. That cracks me up as well. And yeah, the toupee gets shot, and
that's hilarious when because he rips Homer's mind takes over from the brain, the hair controlling him, and he rips the toupee off and chucks it across the room, embraces Bart, and that's where the police show up. And like, it wasn't me, it was the hair, and the sideburns of the hairpiece act as the arms. And it's like, put them up, come on, and Wiggum just wails on it with the gun, just unloads.
Yeah,
and it takes like a good 10, 12.
Oh, it's a proper death throw. Yeah,
it's doing a really dramatic death scene. Yeah, it's fantastic. Is that where it ends?
But that is pretty much where it ends. Yeah, I think they have a little sort of reconciliation moment, but that is the end of the scene. It's a fun
very
little story.
That's right. A joke is made, and Marge is like, may I remind you that 3 people or 2 people are dead?
They're dead.
Oh, I just got the joke.
So yeah, it's a good little story. Like I say, it does have a based on something else, but I do feel like there are similar stories in a bunch of different media. It's all right. It's good enough.
It's the best of this episode.
It is the best of this episode, yeah, for definite. So the next one is it's called The Terror of Tiny Toon. Apparently, I missed the title while I was actually watching the episode, so I just went. It's the one where they get sucked into the TV.
The absolute weakest one.
Again, it is a parody of a real thing.
Oh no! Stop finding this information out. It's embarrassing.
It's a 1982 fantasy comedy film called Stay Tuned.
Yeah, that sounds just right.
Which stars a bunch of people I've never heard of, and Jim's dad from American Pie, Eugene Levy.
Oh, with his eyebrows.
You can't have him without his eyebrows. Surely.
They're incredible.
But yeah.
There's not much to say about this one, if I'm honest. It's even more simple than the first one.
Yeah.
It's Halloween night. The kids are at home. Homer's not going out. Homer's going out trick or treating, or is he?
He's not.
That's another thing. We said about there's not many aspects about the horror to really talk about. It's the jokes, it's the gags.
Yeah.
So Marge says, "Oh, Homer, you're not going out dressed as a hobo again." And Homer's like, "Going where?
Going where?"
As he's just dressed like our home. Well, yeah,
eating cold beans out of a can.
Out of a can.
He's in full, like he's got a foot, like he's put on a pair of shoes where one of the shoes is like gaping open and flapping. You can see his feet. He's got like probably a good month's worth of stubble on his face. Yeah. It's a lot more than his usual muzzle.
So Marge is taking Maggie out trick-or-treating, but she doesn't want the kids watching those dastardly violent cartoons like Itchy and Scratchy. So takes the batteries out of the remote so they can't watch it. They then venture to Homer's pool box. Did you see that? On his toolbox it's spelled TULEBOX. And find some, is it plutonium?
Yeah, it's plutonium.
Radioactive.
Is this before or after? There's another episode, isn't there, where Marge is against the violence in cartoons?
Yes, that's a lot earlier. Yeah,
Maggie bashes Homer over the head. Yeah,
I think that's like 3 or 4, maybe.
So yeah, it's I guess. I mean, I suppose it's a reasonable thing for a mother to be concerned about that the children are watching violent programs or watching programs that they don't necessarily want them to watch
at that age.
it makes sense. But
what doesn't make sense is why they have live
Simpsons
plutonium in their house.
Because it's Homer.
Don't. Yeah, because it's Homer.
I know. I wasn't gonna say the line. But,
so Bart mashes a lump of plutonium into the battery space at the remote. They then try to work the TV, but the magical powers, the radiation of the plutonium, makes them get sucked into the television show, the cartoon, Itchy and Scratchy cartoon, where for the rest of the segment, they're pretty much part of the antics. They're being attacked, Itchy and Scratchy, being chased, all in the goofy, quirky, cartoony world.
Yeah, they change channels. Homer changes channels, and they change with it, so they ended up on the Regis. What is that
Regis
show?
And Kelly. I think
Regis
he's dead now, actually. He's passed away.
Was it Good Morning America that they presented or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was it Kelly Ripa?
Oh, I don't know.
Kelly Ripa.
Again, it's one of those Regis and Kelly live with
Kathy live with Regis and Kathy Lee.
It's one of those things that I've heard about a lot from watching American TV shows, but I guess they're like
Kelly Ripa. It was Kelly Ripa, yeah.
I guess it's like, who's it?
Sorry?
What would the British equivalent of them two be? It's like The One Show or Richard and Judy or something like that.
Yeah, it's a talk show. You get maybe 3 guests on to promote different things.
Yeah.
You get a cooking segment, you get a book segment, you get a exercise work. Or This Morning, you know?
Yeah, This Morning, something like that.
Something just... Yeah.
Daytime
but it is
TV-ish.
Very American reference again, which...
Yeah.
I mean, we'll come back. We get to with Jerry Springer, but Jerry Springer, I think, is a lot more well known. I would say globally, but
I mean,
globally,
certainly over this.
Here
this side of the pond, we got reruns of but you know you can see why you'd get reruns of Jerry Springer show and not necessarily reruns of just some other random American talk show.
I did like Jerry Springer.
Yeah, I think everybody.
I did like it.
Yeah.
So the antics occur in the world of Itchy and Scratchy. We get now. I don't know if you thought about this. We get a cameo from Poochie.
We do get a cameo from Poochie.
Only other time we have ever seen Poochie apart from the Poochie episode? Do you think? I haven't probably checked. But I've
animated. Off the top of my head, I'd say animated and moving. Yes.
Yeah.
But potentially we see like an old Poochie t-shirt or some reference to Poochie being, or Homer being Poochie specifically. I feel like that's probably snuck in a couple of other episodes, but I think this is the only other time we, outside of that episode, we get a walking, talking Poochie.
Rocking,
yeah,
wilding out dude like Poochie
to the max.
Yeah, extreme. Yeah, and he gets Poochie gets pieced out, shall we say, by a cartoonish car. But all these antics happen. They're getting chased basically through the whole cartoon land by Itchy and Scratchy, all because they were laughing at Scratchy's misfortune.
Yeah,
that's mean.
Yeah, he's laughing at your pain.
So they end up, I believe, at Itchy's house, where one of the walls is the TV screen.
Yes.
And they can see Homer there. He's back to his normal look. He's got rid of the... Well, he's actually grown the beard back properly. Put some new clothes on, and they're trying to knock on the glass, get him to use the remote to get them out of there. He struggles for a little bit, but it works in the end. But not until Bart has been 75% eaten alive by piranhas coming out of a fire hose from Itchy.
Yes. It's the piranha hydrant. That's
the one. Yes, the old classic. So when they do get sucked out, he is the same. He still is just from neck down skeleton, and we get the brilliant gag by Marge. Lisa, look out! A skeleton. Possibly the most least threatening thing in horror. More threatening than Jason and the Argonauts, and films like that. But it's funny because it's Marge.
It is funny.
It's funny because it's coming from Marge. So.
What about Ghost Mutt?
Exactly.
Yes. So yeah, basically it's the old rewind trick. The remote controls real world stuff. So
Yeah.
they hit rewind and the piranhas uneat Bart and he's fine again. And Itchy and Scratchy are out of the TV and in the real world, and very quickly dealt with because Itchy is just a mouse, isn't he? He's just
he is. Put him in the
mouse,
cage. He starts running on the wheel.
Starts running on the wheel, and Snowball 2 comes and shows some affection for Scratchy. So it declares that he's in love. To which Marge says he's going to need to be neutered. And
no!
That's the end of that chapter.
Yeah, it almost feels like this could have just been this could have been a normal episode, really.
Yeah, I do sort of forget that this is a standalone segment, and when I think about it, it does feel like in my memory it is always a small part of something else and not like a standalone tale in its own right. I think we talked about this before. Isn't there another one that involves some TV to real life messing about
in a Treehouse of Horror?
I don't know if it's in a Treehouse of Horror or not, or something else. I'm sure it happens again, or there's a very similar scene.
I have to think on that one. I feel like you might be right, but I'm not sure off the top of my head right now.
Not sure about that one.
Leave it in the comments right now, folks, as we're talking, and we will be able to find out. Right now, just type it in the comments below.
Just type it in, let me know.
Yeah, type it in now.
Have I made that up?
Anyway, like you were Googling. The way you just said, have I made it up, sounded like you were Googling.
I'm asking, have I made that up?
This up? Am I an idiot?
Yeah,
yes.
Well, that might work.
So yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it, like we said.
No, there really isn't.
Sorry, folks, there really wasn't. It is what it is. It's there. It's not bad. It's just, there's very little meat on this segment.
There is very little meat, and it doesn't. Yeah, there's not really that many sort of standout gags in it either. It's vaguely amusing. Fills the middle of the show up nicely. Onto the next one.
We've had this before. We've definitely had this before. I feel like where the middle kind of dwindles. The middle segment has dwindled.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, on to the third and final, Starship Poopers.
Yeah, Starship Poopers, which is a fun title, I guess.
It is, but I'd rather. I mean, Starship Troopers is an all-timer film.
That's. I guess in some ways that's how I dislike this more, because it's like a waste of a title. Exactly. Like, why didn't you do a Starship Troopers parody?
Yes. That'd be amazing.
Like, just for, you know what I mean? Like, say that I think the whole reason for this one is just to get Jerry Springer. It's just to do this Jerry Springer bit. Yeah. So yeah, it's and I suppose we've not had Kanga Kodos in the episode yet, and
obligatory.
They have to be in a Treehouse episode.
Yeah.
So, Marge discovers Maggie's first baby tooth, which turns out to be a monstrous fang.
One
and then
dead center,
just one
down,
and then Homer discovers that Maggie has lost her baby legs.
Yeah, I love that.
Which I do really like that joke. As
good as that joke is, the way it's delivered and the way he looks. That's a different Homer to say a Homer from season 7 or 6 or 8. It's so silly. Look, she's lost her baby legs. Like, he's a very different person.
Yes. So obviously we assume that nobody knows what's going on. Maggie seems to actually be some sort of alien creature rather than a human. And it's revealed that Kang is Maggie's real father. She emits like a beacon, a sonar. She sends out a signal to Kang and Kodos in space, who basically say, "Oh, we need to go and see my child." And
my daughter.
And it is revealed that from a flashback or a telling of Marge that she was abducted for a intergalactic interspecies crossbreeding program. There's a couple of jokes about traditional human spawning locations being the backseat of a car and an alley.
I wrote them down.
It's the backseat of a Camaro. Alley behind a porno theatre.
Oh, I thought I did write them down.
A friend's wedding.
Friend's wedding, and in the plane. Plane lavatory.
Oh, the aeroplane bathroom. Yeah, that's right.
What would you pick?
I mean, I'm surprised Mars goes for the porno theatre alley.
I agree.
I agree. Because it's not just an alley, which would be pretty grim in of itself.
There's a dumpster there.
It's the alley behind the porno theatre. I would have thought Marge would be backseat of the car. To be quite honest.
I think go friend's wedding.
I mean, friend's wedding. At least you can assume it's maybe in a hotel, and there might be a bedroom you could use.
Oh, and then you can get back to do the cha-cha slide or oops upside your head, you know.
Yeah, and that's it. And the gags are just a bit weak. There's also another joke about sort of the speed at which the deed was done, because essentially he shoots her with a
like a ray gun.
It's an impregnating ray, sperm ray. I don't know what it is exactly, but yeah, he shoots her with a laser gun, and that makes her pregnant. And she declares that was rather fast, and
the impregnator,
the impregnator 2000. So yeah, there's obviously we get that little flashback, and then Bart declares the only person that can solve an argument as weird and wacky as this is Jerry Springer. So we get a little segment of like, my father's a space mutant or something or other.
Can I just say, when Marge is describing what happened that night, we get another great Marge line at the beginning where she's out putting the washing out, and she says, I was having a great time in the backyard, and then...
And she is just
having a great time.
I was having a great time in the backyard by myself. She's just hanging laundry.
So Jerry Springer.
So we're back. We have Jerry Springer, and it is Jerry Springer doing celebrity cameo, playing himself, doing his talk show. If you are not familiar with the Jerry Springer talk show,
what are you doing listening to us?
I mean, just Google it, get on YouTube, have a look. But it was a problem-solving
exploitation
talk show, exploitation,
huge exploitation,
and fights breaking out, brawls breaking out. It being sort of extreme TV was one of its sort of hallmarks, wasn't it?
It was for the sake of entertainment. The people that were coming on. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not going to use the word trailer trash. Okay, it was less fortunate. Poor people from poverty.
Let's be honest. The British version was Jeremy Kyle, and he, I think, was actually heavily criticised for it being exploitation. And I always felt with Jerry Springer there was a sense that it wasn't real.
With Jerry Springer, I would highly believe a lot of it was
that there was some of it was
staged.
Scripted, staged, things like that. But they had all sorts of, people from all walks of life and into all sorts of weird things. And
we're not just talking like family squabbles. We're talking the most random like fetishes and random
and also people with particular political ideals, shall we say?
Yeah.
And
they like to wear white garbs, things like that.
March in certain ways, etc.
I tell you what, Maury was the shit. You are not the father. Well, there's the one on Maury where she's terrified of olives, and they bring out a jar of olives, and she just bursts,
screams and runs away.
Anyway,
but we have Jerry doing his thing and asking the lady in the audience, and I always remember this line.
Say?
She says, I want to talk. This is to the disgusting creature down there, and Jerry says Homer, and she's like, "No, the alien, the tentacle monster." And she says, "If you that baby's daddy, where you been at?"
That's great. That was really good. And he doesn't even answer. He just erases them all, doesn't he? He just disintegrates them all.
Just disintegrates her, and then disintegrates the rest of the audience.
Before that, though, he asks Homer, like, how did it make you feel?
Uh-huh.
And he was like, what does he say? He's like, angry and tired. And also the caption at the bottom is, wife knocked boots to space stud.
But I mean, there's quite a lot of this whole segment is to just sort of simulate the Simpsons characters swearing. So it's all bleeped out language and like fighting with Kang. And then after he ray guns and disintegrates the audience, Maggie attacks Jerry, and then he starts swearing, and he's trying to get Maggie off him. And then it just sort of resolves itself with Kang threatening to kill all the politicians.
I don't get the end of this.
It's
there's a joke there that I just don't get.
I think it's just generally like, because they say, you won't be able to destroy all of them, as if to, like call the bluff and go and do it because the world would be a better place without politicians. I guess it's not very good. Basically,
no.
It just sort of ends with some like weak. I mean, I won't even call it satire. It's just a really rubbish.
Because they're looking at each other, smirking, saying, "Oh, you couldn't kill all our politicians." And then when they fly off, it's like just watch us. They fly off, and Marge is like, "Suckers." I don't.
Yeah, well,
what does that mean?
I mean, like, I guess that.
What does it mean, Marge?
They'll solve all the problems by killing the politicians, and then everything will be better. But you've still got an alien daughter to raise. I don't know. It's a crap end. It's a crap ending to a fairly mediocre segment.
It is. Like we said, the first segment is your standout segment. It's a one segment horror special.
Yeah.
That really doesn't really give much horror. I mean, none of them are really scary. None of them are scary. None of them are horror. But
no.
None of this doesn't really give much in the way of horror, I think. Whereas our next one, I mean, the first segment, Werewolves and I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's right there, But this, Kang and Kodos, we've seen them in every episode. Sucked into the TV.
I don't like extended Kang Kodos episodes.
No, if they
bring them in as a cameo, they're commenting on something that's going on in another segment. Fair enough, great. I like that they're in every episode of the Halloween specials. Great, put them in. Don't want to see them disappear for good, but the extended stories with them are always a bit like me. I'm just not that fussed.
Have them always in their spaceship watching over what's going on, and then the elongated laugh, the classic laugh after. That's what you need.
So probably the worst one that we've had so far.
Yeah, and that's including the first one.
Yeah.
Which was the Raven, and the
zombies and the
Frankenstein
and aliens and the Kang and Kodos eating people.
Yeah.
But the next one, number 10.
The 10th installment. Yeah.
Again, like you say, it starts off strong. Good horror story with I Know What You Diddly Did.
Well, before we do that, with the intro with Kang and Kodos.
We have an intro.
With Kang and Kodos, and that is our only bit. They come out like a variety show again.
Yep.
Welcome with Kang and Kodos. If you haven't been probed by them, you haven't been probed. Kang and Kodos. But the best part of this intro is I love that when they tell a cheesy joke and then they cut to the crowd, which is a bunch of aliens, and they're just sat there stoic, and there's a laugh track over them.
They've got the canned laughter over.
Yeah. That happens a couple of times, and then we cut to the couch. And what's interesting about this couch gag is that every one of them, Marge, Homer, Bot, Maggie, and maybe Lisa, which I want to ask you about, is a character from a past Halloween special. So Homer is the Jack in the Box, Marge is the witch, Bart is the fly, Maggie is what we just saw as an alien. Lisa has an axe in her head.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's from a
we haven't seen that, have
episode. We? No, I don't think so.
Very odd, because if they're all references, like they're the clear as day references.
Maybe Lisa's not done anything, though, has she really?
Yeah.
She's not been...
She's always one that solves things, solves mysteries.
Yeah, she's not been sort of the victim of anything, I don't think. It's always been...
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've just had to sort of, like, fob her off with, oh, well, you have this.
Got an axe in that face.
Yeah, just hold this axe.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I just want to say that was the intro. So we got a new... So we are fully into creative new intros now.
Yes.
We're moving on. So I know what you diddly did. Is it I know what you diddly did last summer?
No, it's just I know what you diddly did.
This is I like this one.
So this is an interesting one because it is sort of a parody, but also it's entirely its own story. So
it takes the parody and adds a twist to it. Yeah.
So there's the obvious parody, the obvious sort of homage to I Know What You Did Last Summer. In which, you know, a bunch of teens kill a guy and then, you know, he seemingly comes back to pick them off one by one and threaten them with the fact that somebody knows that they committed this murder. So we get elements of that with Homer accidentally running over Flanders, and then when he later appears in his fisherman guy's garb, the sou'wester and the yellow, that is like a look taken directly from I Know What You Did Last Summer, right?
Oh yes, with the hook and everything. Yeah.
However, there's a massive werewolf plot that is just stuck in there from out of nowhere, which obviously takes it like far, you know, a sharp left turn down a bumpy country road on a foggy night. And I like it. I do think it's good. Also, this has a very quotable, quoted line with the beginning. Because they're actually, the Simpsons in the car are...
Where have they come from?
They've come from fighting vampires, is it that they say? I can't remember. It's something... It's something else.
I will find it right now. I will find what exactly that word is. I mean, we know what the next line is, but I will find out what they have
and it was all to save the sugar crisp. The sugar crisp cereal. And... To which Homer says, "Can't get enough of that sugar crisp." It's a foggy night, and Marge wants to put the fog lights on, but Homer, guess he forgot to put the fog lights in.
While he's got a bunch of sugar crisp in his mouth. It's so good. It's so
I do like it. It's very silly,
hilarious.
little thing, little line. And Homer's quite musical when he wants to be. He's quite a good singer.
They just it's just simple as escape from those horrible vampires. So you could even you could maybe link this episode on from. Oh no, actually maybe you couldn't because the head vampire ended up being Marge. And that was in their house, so...
But if you don't have that ending on, this could be them escaping from Burns'
exactly.
castle. Coming straight from Burns' castle into this. Because there's a fog, because it's foggy night and she can't see, and Homer forgot to put the fog lights in. She pulls over and inadvertently runs over Ned Flanders, And then there's a couple of jokes about how, you know, nobody will believe Simpsons accidentally killed the Flanders.
No, maybe even Bart has its suspicions.
And yeah, that's the setup, isn't it? And then we get a few minutes of the sort of I know what you did, and it's scrolled on the walls, and we get them being stalked by. Well,
this
don't
segment
know
is
who.
No.
Initially.
This segment is full of amazing gags, in my opinion. And that's a rare thing for us to say because of the fact where we are in the Simpsons timeline.
Mm-hmm.
I think we said earlier, but we got the sugar crisp gag at the beginning. We've got when they find out it's Ned and Homer's trying to sort of bring how they reveal it to Maude. Homer and Ned are up on the roof, and it's like, "Hey, Mom, diddly,
diddly." Yeah,
and I'm just helping Homer.
Helping me clean the chimney.
So he basically wants Maude to find Ned dead on her own, so they're not incriminated. And the first attempt is Homer chucking Ned's body off the roof onto the doghouse, and she misses it. It's like, damn, she missed it, and Ned's body's just bent in half. So the second attempt is crack open the door, pretend Ned's arrived home, and just chuck his lifeless body in the house and run away.
Maude, I'm back. I think I'm having a heart attack. Diddly.
And then she finds him, screams, and he's just like, this at the door.
That's the end of that chapter.
So I was thinking when watching that there's another great Homer and Ned segment at his house when Marge is a police officer and he uses Marge's police tape around the front of Ned's house, and Ned comes back and says, "Oh my god, something terrible has happened." And this is Homer's just playing a joke on him. This horrible joke. That joke is more horrifying than anything that happens in this episode. Yeah. It's a joke. You thought your family were dead, but they're not. So they end up at Ned's funeral. I can't help but think of the time when Marge ran over Ned.
The look on Ned's face is Marge.
Oh, we'll miss you, buddy. Fist bump. And again, this is joke after joke. They're driving back from the church. Like, we just got away with murder. So I never really liked that Wienerkin Millhouse. So yeah, we get joke after joke after joke. It's very good writing in this episode.
Yeah, it is. I agree. And then when we have the reveal that I know what you did, and it's and it is Flanders. It turns out that just seconds before he was run over by the Simpsons, he was mauled by a werewolf.
Going on one of his late night fog walks.
one of his famous late night fog walks. He was mauled by a werewolf and therefore is actually undead. And we get them proofing that by sticking in the eye with a stick.
Dead. He's definitely dead.
And then I do like Homer's line about, "Did you hear me zing werewolf Flanders?" Hey Marge, did you hear me zing werewolf Flanders?
While they have just bailed on him.
Yeah. So yeah, they get chased by werewolf Flanders. And
what are the locations? What are the locations that Homer? No, only Homer does. He tells the family where to go, each individual location.
Oh,
do you remember what they are?
One's the haunted roller disco.
So
the lake
spooky
where
roller disco.
The spooky roller disco. The lake where that's the I can't remember what the second one is. And then
sexy teens got murdered.
Is it abandoned doll factory? Spooky roller disco, abandoned doll factory, and the lake where the sexy teens were murdered 100 years ago this night, or something like that. Abandoned
amusement park and a pet cemetery.
Oh,
yeah,
close enough.
All perfectly secure places to go and hide.
Yeah, very, very cliche horror locations to run off to. Yeah, there are a lot of jokes. This is definitely a stronger start than episode 9. With this one, this has a lot of good gags. Anything else to add about this one?
No, I think I said at the beginning. This has really strong points all throughout this segment. The writing is just joke after joke. We get more horror in this than we did in the last episode in total.
In full, we do.
And then that's it. That's within two aspects of horror merged within one, like you said. And it's funny. It's generally a funny segment. It is funny.
Yeah, it does well. I think, to be honest, it's probably quite heavy on the horror for a lot of them. From what we've seen for a while, you know.
Yeah. The downside to it though, it's certainly the strongest again of this episode.
Yes.
And that was mirrored with the last episode. The strongest was the first segment, being Hell Toupee, which again, Hell Toupee is an incredible pun for a title. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, unfortunately, it is the strongest one. As we move on to the second segment of Treehouse of Horror 11, desperately seeking tenants. Wait, did I write that down right?
Desperately seeking Xena.
Why does that say tenants?
I don't know.
Wait a minute, because my
has it autocorrected?
Fucking autocorrect. Okay, yeah, I tried to write this like it, because it's not seeking, it's zeeking,
it is
right?
Zeeking, yeah. It's zeeking, Xena.
Hang on, I need to try and write Xena on here and see what happens.
You're obviously not writing Xena enough in your general day-to-day texting.
Why would it change it to tenants? I'm baffled by that.
I
anyway, desperately seeking tenants is our second segment. It's about a horrifying, murderous landlord who's looking for tenants to chop up and take their possessions.
Well, it's not about horror at all. It's not that. This is not a horror story.
No.
This is a comic book superhero tale.
Yeah.
We have Bart and Lisa getting superpowers from a radiation spill, X-ray. Yeah, radio
at the school,
something like that.
It's an X-ray machine that
X-ray machine
faults,
exploding. Yeah, they get superpowers, and then we have comic book guy stepping in as a comic book villain, and we have essentially the kids having to rescue him and stopping his nefarious. This is just a straightforward comic book story, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, it's similar to what you said about Springer. They had the cameo from Lucy Lawless, so they used it. It worked a bit with the comic book guy being the collector, but it doesn't fit.
It doesn't really fit. This is like one of those random other episodes when they do other, because the Simpsons do this with other things. They've done the Bible episodes, they've done the Greek myths, where the setup will be the power goes out and Homer's telling some stories, and they do other stuff. This is more like, this is more like they do fairy tales or something. This is more like one of those than, because it's not a horror tale. I mean,
so they get locked. The boys get Millhouse get locked in the comic shop. With comic book guy, and they start telling these stories. Yeah,
and they start telling stories. Right. Yeah, it's
super right.
It's one of those. Yeah, it don't really belong in a horror episode. It's got some funny gags, particularly if you are into comics or collecting and things like that, because it's got a lot of sort of on the nose, like geeky references to, keeping things mint in packaging, and it hams up those silly comic book tropes of nerdy loners and the whole. I mean, comic book guy is kind of a walking cliche of comic book guys anyway.
Yeah, every character in The Simpsons being a cliche.
And he works well. He works well as being a comic book, or over the top hammy comic book villain as well. So yeah, This is where we have the if you see something like that, a wizard did it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Lucy Lawless is doing a Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's doing it at the mall. She's not doing it at the comic shop in Springfield, because I mean he would be there.
He would be there.
Yeah. So she's doing a Q&A with all the nerds. It reminded me of the Q&A that Homer and the voice actress did for Poochie. And there's the nerdy guy that I hope someone got fired for that blunder.
Yeah, when Itchy's playing the scratchy skeleton and like a xylophone. Yeah, two different notes can be heard despite him hitting the same rib.
And so Frink is kind of doing the same thing, asking a question that it's just so being pedantic about it.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. And Lucy doesn't care, and she just keeps going, wizard.
Yeah.
Wizard.
Whenever you see something like that, a wizard did it.
Yeah, wizard. And it's at that point she gets kidnapped by the Collector.
Yeah, he breaks through with a crane with a big magnet on it, which looks really good, and it's very impressive. It's very big, and then we have the little must remove breastplate gag, and everybody's ready with the cameras. All the nerds are ready with the cameras, so she puts it back on, and then we see the crane with the magnet is on the back of his crappy little
shitty little car,
whatever car it's supposed to be. But yeah, it's just so he's not got the like the big supervillain budget, but he's got the persona. Yeah, because his lair is the basement of his comic shop, isn't it?
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's the collector, and he's been collecting other celebrities. He's got a Doctor Who in there. He's got 7 of 9 from Star Trek. There's one of the Doctor Who's. I think there's
Yasmin Bleeth from Baywatch.
Yasmin Bleeth. I think there's a Cyberman as well. Something else.
I mean Xena alone, but Baywatch as well. Or that, like, these are very of the 90s.
Oh yeah. I mean massively. Like, I mean we get a Star Wars Episode 1 reference as well.
I mean, what if they did the Collector nowadays? Mm-hmm. What would he have? 11 from Stranger Things. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. You know,
maybe
real pop culture.
Maybe Khaleesi from Game of Thrones. Maybe still just about in that being a relevant thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. Meanwhile, the kids have got these superpowers from the. So it's the police have set up an X-ray machine for the Halloween candy to make sure there's no nasties in there. The machine explodes because Nelson jams it, and yeah, the kids get superpowers. Lisa gets super strength, and Bart gets Mr. Fantastic type stretchy elasticity powers.
They become Stretch Dude and Rubber Girl. And it goes, he's a human rubber band, she's a something girl.
I think it's She's No Pumpkin Pearl, I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's something like that.
Tonight's
episode. And they're what are they doing? They're raking leaves in the yard. Bart's got his fingers all stretched like a rake. Raking leaves, Lisa lifts up the house and they rake them underneath. And then they hear and see Xena being carried past on the magnet, so they run off to help, and Marge shouts after them, "Be careful, you're vulnerable to kryptonite."
Jeez, just tell the neighborhood, Marge.
Which again is good, just a good little gag of Marge being a typical mom, such a mom.
Marge being Marge. Do you know, let's talk about Stretch Dude and Clobber Girl. So she gets crushed by the radiation is so powerful. She gets crushed by like bleachers, like seats in the gym, which for a second that's actually quite horrifying because the scream is so well done. The scream happens by the kids, and while the scream is occurring, you've got Skinner basically with his hands on his head going, "Oh my god!" Something about those two pieces of audio going together, Skinner and the scream, is quite horrifying because they've just witnessed a child be crushed. And then when you go to Bart and he becomes Stretch Dude, I don't know. I think I thought about it too hard. His head stretching is fine. It's funny. His arm stretching. When his eyeballs stretch, I'm thinking about that in real life terms and how utterly gross that is.
Yeah, that is kind of gross. Yeah, I mean, I have a similar thing with like when he stretches his bum, like just his ass.
Yeah, so how? Yeah,
like it's one thing like your arms and your legs, finger, your appendages like stretching, but then it's like a body part that isn't really
meant to.
Like, yeah, isn't really sort of separate in the same way. Like, just sort of.
Your head is it's separate, right?
Yeah,
it's a separate continent.
Your neck stretching would seem like a logical thing, and there are creatures with long necks and something like that. Yeah, your arm stretching, sure, but
folks, I understand it's a really hard topic to make sound legit, but please understand. I feel your ears, they're separate to your head. They can stretch.
Yeah. It's just like it's like if you stretch your kneecap out, just the kneecap.
Oh, that's so weird.
It'd be weird. It'd be a weird thing to do.
Yeah, won't have it. Where do we get to?
So the kids go off and they confront the collector.
Yeah,
he's revealed his plan is to basically marry Xena. He makes some jokes like, "Oh, I'm not insane. I merely want to take you back to my lair and make you my bride." And Xena, he manages to. Oh, the Stretch Dude and Clobber Girl turn up, and he manages to subdue them with the only working phaser in existence. It was fired only once to prevent William Shatner from making another album. He manages to shoot Lisa, and then Bart dodges all the shots, and then just gets hit in the head as he throws it. And then he ties them up again, sort of classic comic book villain, sort of James Bond-esque death trap, isn't it? Ties them up over a bubbling vat of lucite.
Lucite. I didn't even know what lucite was when I first ever watched this.
I'm guessing it's the plastic stuff they encase real collectibles in, isn't it?
I guess, yeah. I guess so.
When you get comics graded and they put them in those plastic sheaths, I think that's
just acrylic.
Lucite,
yeah,
something like that.
Well, yeah, because it hardens him, doesn't he, when he lands in it?
Yeah. So yeah, we think the kids are going to be killed, or they're in trouble, and Xena manages to fool the collector by giving him a bit of a honey trap, and she escapes. And kicks him.
Xena wants sex.
Yeah.
The funny part about that is when she grabs him by his lips.
His lips.
More comically large because cartoon. She starts punching him. Mm-hmm. And because it's comic book guy, I think it's done well for his character. But it's really funny that when she's punching him and attacking him, he's still speaking. He's elaborating how he's feeling.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's like when the dolphins attack, which we'll get to.
Mm-hmm.
Later on in the episode, the dolphins grab comic book guy and put his head in between a car door and start slamming him, and it's kind of like, you're hurting my you're hitting my please stop. I like the talking while he's getting beaten up, like, then my face, and then she kicks him out of kicks him down to wherever.
Well, she kicks him, and then he picks up the lightsaber from episode 1, Phantom Menace, and ignites it. And then Xena points out that, Lucy Lawless points out that he's removed it from its packaging, and that's when he just sort of stumbles back and falls in.
It's no longer mint.
No longer mint. There's a couple of other things that these are some names you call me on our wedding night. Obi-Wan, Iron Man, Mr. Mixes Piglet, and of course, Big Papa Smurf. And yeah, he falls into the lucite, and again he does the sort of the monologuing. Lucite hardening must end life in classic Lauren Green pose from Battlestar Galactica. Best death ever. Lucy, lawless, Xena, she frees herself from the Mylar pouch and grabs the kids and flies off into the sunset.
Because she's Lucy Lawless.
And wait a minute, Xena can't fly. I keep telling you I'm not Xena. I'm Lucy Lawless.
Which makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense. Of course,
completely understand.
Lucy Lawless can fly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an amusing. There is another one earlier that I didn't mention, but care for a Rolo, sweet Xena.
Man, when I watched that, I was like, I haven't had a Rolo in a long time. They are great.
Same. Also, I think it sticks out to me because at the time I wasn't aware that Rolos were an American. Like they knew what. I just assumed that they were a British sweet and not necessarily available anywhere else. I was like, oh, Americans have Rolos. Wow, I'm learning.
I'm learning.
I'm learning. Yeah, it's amusing enough. It's just not horror in any way. It's horror in the same way as like trick or treating is just kids dressing up in superhero outfits and going trick or treating. Like, because kids nowadays don't do horror. I mean, we don't have the same sort of trick or treating culture as they do in the US. But when I do see kids out and about for Halloween, more often than not, they're not dressed as horror things.
I'm gonna get serious for a second.
Oh. Okay.
Because you've just made me think, and I was thinking about this not long ago. You're saying about kids don't kids don't do horror these days. They don't dress up at Halloween. I would be very intrigued to find out like a polling of a younger generation, let's say Generation Z or even younger, what their take on horror is these days. I do like for us. I was way more interested in the older horrors. I guess because we could barely find them. You had to get the VHS, the videotapes, or find it on Sci-Fi Channel. And they were a bit more... horror films were a bit more unique and rare at that time because you couldn't just watch it whenever you wanted. Nowadays, a kid's going to dress up as a Jason? Are they going to know what the hockey mask is? Are they going to dress up as the classics? Or are they going to dress up as whatever they see on Netflix or Amazon?
Well, I don't know, because what horror...
icons.
What horror films are... Oh, yeah, but what... Yeah, exactly, but what...
And kids shouldn't know about art. The clown, really.
No.
I don't know, it popped into my head like when you while your comment there. Because trick-or-treating is very... It's a dying aspect. It's a dying... event,
yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think it was ever a thing that really took off in this country, but I don't think we get much of it. Well, maybe it's just where I live, but I've never seen much. But it always makes me think of like World Book Day as well, like when they do World Book Day, and I see people on social media posting pictures of the kids and like, oh, our so and so's doing this, and 90% of them are like, oh, our little Larry is going as Spider-Man for World Book Day. And I'm like, it's not really the spirit of the thing, is it? I mean, no. Okay, there's not... Whatever gets kids reading is a good thing. So if your kid's reading comics, or if anybody's reading comics, like, fair play. No shade. But World Book Day, like, try a little bit harder, maybe steer away from Marvel and get them dressed up as something from Goosebumps, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, anything like that. Yeah.
there must be other. I mean, I don't know. What are the kids reading? Harry Potter. I suppose you'd always get a fair smattering of Harry Potter costumes at World Book Day. I
mean, World Book Day is going to die in the next few decades as well.
Probably.
I mean, a kid's going to be able to read and write. It's just typing.
World Text Day.
World AI Day, yeah.
World Chat GPT Day.
Oh, don't. Anyway, let's get... last segment. Come on, we're on the home stretch here. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, okay.
Life's a glitch.
This one's pants, innit?
This one feels like they wanted to get out of there as well. We just need something to fill up the episode. This one is pretty rough.
I mean, this is... very of its time as well. October 31st, 1999. So we are looking at Y2K.
Do you remember much of the whole Y2K conspiracy thing?
I do remember it very well. I don't think I ever believed in it, but I remember hearing the theory that, you know, computers would basically reset to 1900 rather than turn over to 2000, and we'd, at worst, all our alarm clocks would stop. At best, all our alarm clocks would stop working. At worst, like, you know, global panic and collapse and medical records, everyone's lives would be wiped from systems basically, and nobody would exist, and money wouldn't be a thing anymore. And then there's the very extreme cases where, you know, planes would drop out of the sky, and basically what we get in this episode. Yeah, I do remember it. I remember a bunch of people probably got silly rich selling Y2K, you know, Y2K compliance software.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, I guess we went through COVID, and maybe a similar, arguably a similar sort of hype and thing happened with people getting fast and rich off things that they didn't fully understand. I mean, it's not
like fear mongering, really.
Yeah, fear mongering.
Spreading fear for the sake of it.
A lot of fear mongering. People didn't really understand it. Obviously, it wasn't the same thing, but yeah, there was a lot of people were worried, or seemed to be worried, that the world was effectively, the world as we knew it was effectively going to end. It was.
I mean, as of now, I'd have taken it gladly.
I mean, yeah, there was no reason. It didn't end, but it certainly didn't get any better.
Yeah.
So it's an odd one.
So Homer is basically the main cause of Y2K actually happening.
Yes. Homer, you are our Y2K, the plant's Y2K compliance officer.
That's Homer Simpson's computer.
It must have been hard work getting all those computers. Doing the what now?
Yeah.
Yeah. What a surprise. Homer didn't actually do anything. Didn't know he had to do anything. And yes, full global destruction and societal collapse as planes do indeed drop out of the sky, and things go haywire. This feels very much like the a crazy haywire machine episode segment as well. I think that's another reason why I don't like it as much, because although this is very of its time, it does feel like it's just a rehash of a plot that they've already done. So yeah, they are heading for an escape. They found there's a rocket. This feels a lot shorter than the other segments as well. It does just
feels rushed. Nothing
really happens. Yeah, it's very rushed. I do like Homer's like look at the wonders of the civilized age now. Wonders, Lisa, or blunders. I think that was implied by what I said. Implied, Lisa, or implode.
And because of that, she picks Mum instantly later on.
Yes.
But
so yeah, go on.
No, me or you?
Well, you go ahead.
I'll go. So yeah, we also get the classic. They're about to celebrate New Year's with Dick Clark. Dick Clark is another quite dated American reference. I don't even know if he's still alive. He was like, I guess he'd be.
He is.
For us, it's a Jules Holland. Okay, Jules Holland is what you think of New Year's Eve. He hosts a TV show.
Yeah.
In England, it's just a big entertainment show with musicians. New Year's Eve. Dick Clark, I believe, hosted New Year's Eve at Times Square.
Yeah,
they watched the ball drop, right?
Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Yeah, and they watched the ball drop at Times Square.
He did. He passed away in 2012. Did Dick Clark?
Oh, okay, 12 years ago.
I think there is still a Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve program. It's now called, the 2023.
Steve Harvey.
No, it's Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest. I thought Steve Harvey did it.
I mean, maybe he did the previous year, but
I love Steve Harvey.
But yeah, I mean, there are lots of presenters Regis back again.
Yeah.
Jessica Simpson. There were lots of people listed as presenters for it. So anyway, our equivalent is Jules Holland's New Year's Hootenanny or whatever it's called. I've never watched.
No, I've never really properly watched it, but that's basically what we have. So they referencing that being in Springfield, everything goes wrong, everything goes tits up, all because of Homer. The date turns to 1900, like you said. The ball explodes. Dick Clark turns into a Terminator and melts. Everything with a microchip starts malfunctioning, goes wrong. Even the milk.
Even the milk.
When you said the planes start dropping, they literally just drop. They don't crash.
No, they're not crashing. They're just
We've got Krusty's electronic bow spinning around like a hummingbird.
Pacemaker being set to hummingbird. Yeah.
Nelson in the school. Why would he be there New Year's Eve? He's photocopying his ass, and he gets sucked into the machine.
That's why he's there.
Yeah, I suppose it's best time to do it. What else do we get? Do we get a few others?
There's just lots of explosions.
Yeah.
I think they're the main ones that stick out.
But when they get to Krusty, they think he's dead, so they pull a letter out, and it's basically Earth is evacuating. They've already prepped for this, apparently. Yeah. There are rockets ready to go. Earth's evacuating. The most important people are being saved, and everyone else, bollocks to you. So they take his invite. They're walking away. I'm not dead.
I can still hear his voice on the wind.
Excuse me.
The clown gave his life to save us. Yeah.
So they end up finding the rocket, which it's a really comically very old school comically drawn rocket. It's
1950s silver cigar shaped rocket with rocket.
It's already prepped at 45 degrees with a lift, and we get the famous people ready to be boarded. I think I had the list. Have you got the list at all?
I've not got the list.
I have the list here. Here we go.
Michelle Kwan was one of them.
Michelle Kwan. Bill Gates, Ron Howard, Jimmy Carter, Stephen Hawking, Paul McCartney, Michael Jordan, and Michelle Kwan.
I'm pretty sure that they're all cameos from previous Simpsons episodes, or most of them are.
Hawking hadn't been in it yet. McCartney had.
Is it before?
Yeah.
Before Hawkins won then. Oh, that's interesting.
Ron Howard hadn't been in it yet.
Oh, really? Okay.
Maybe Ron Howard may have been in season 10 with Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger.
Yeah. Ray Bolger. And when it's time to do the dishes, where's Ray Bolger? I love that one.
So Lisa is on the list because she's a genius. And there's the great gag of, you only get to take one parent. That's so mean. You only get to take one parent with you.
I know.
And when he asks her, before he can finish, she's like, Mum.
Yeah, before he even finishes the sentence. Yeah, she's the proofreader.
And they're just, see ya. Bye, love you, bye. Off into the hero rocket, where Bart and Homer have to go venture out for themselves and find another rocket. And they find one, but it's not until we're halfway in space that we realise it's the evil rocket.
It is essentially the evil rocket, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
flying to the sun. The hottest place on Earth.
Yeah, it is season 10, the Ron Howard episode.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, they find the second rocket with the worst of society. I don't know really why these people get the hate they do. I feel like this is maybe more of an American thing.
Again, I think these are very American references.
We've got
I get the Rosie O'Donnell one.
I get the Rosie O'Donnell one. Pauly Shore as well, I kind of get. Although he was like a really big star at one point, was Pauly Shore. I think he was. So. I think he was a kind of a victim of sort of his own success and was oversaturated. But Spike Lee. I don't know what the issue with Spike Lee is.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
No, and
I think Tom Arnold was abusive. I want to check that to confirm.
Yeah, maybe. Possibly. Oh no, I do think you might be right though. There was something sort of iffy went on with Tom Arnold. Also Courtney Love as well. I suppose it's fair game thinking about it. There's maybe only 2 actually that I don't understand.
Anyway, without speculation, apparently they're evil.
Yes, they're evil or not as popular, I think. Is probably more fair to say. So, yeah, and Rosie O'Donnell tries to get a sing-along going, and clang, 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 when the trolley.
Ding, ding, ding with the bell.
And yeah, that death can't come quick enough for Homer, so he hits an eject button and blasts himself into the vacuum of space.
It's actually quite horrible.
It is quite horrible. The most horrific thing is Tom Arnold eating that can of peaches.
Because his mouth gets bigger.
It's genuinely disgusting. The food's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I know my shows were great, but I didn't tie up anyone to me from watch. I could have. I'm a big guy and good with nuts.
Yeah,
Still,
I thought
good.
I noted that as well. It was horrifying watching him eat that can of peaches.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they're in space, we get the Total Recall moment of their heads starting to swell as they're floating in space. And as each one goes off camera, you hear bang, bang, their head exploding. Which, then you think about it, Bart's head has just exploded.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Homer, adult, but kid, it's a bit worse. And that's how we end.
And that is the end of that one. So my last note is Tom Arnold eating peaches.
Making it a page for hours. Nicolas Cage there, folks. So yeah, both not the strongest, but have a good segment in each of them. But that's about. I mean, there's a
few good gags, and like I say, we as we said at the beginning, The Simpsons, I think generally is sort of on beginning its decline for a lot of people, and yeah, the writing maybe takes a dip from this point on.
Yeah.
They can't all be hits, as we've said. I don't think we've episode we've looked at yet where all 3 have been great.
Oh, that's a thinker.
I mean, I think we've been able to say that there is at least one we don't like as much as the others in previous episodes. But now it feels like we're going the other way, and it's finding one that's good. That's definitely good out of the 3. And I'd certainly say number 10 is the worst of the lot
so far. Yes, yeah, I agree.
So far, 100%. It is a reasonably strong start, as we said, but the other 2 just don't fit. Don't really do it for me. The last one feels very rushed and is, just not very good. Feels too much like a previous plot they've done.
I tell you what, I'm looking back at some of these old ones, and some of them are 3 for 3, I would say. You've got 4 here, episode Treehouse 4, The Devil and Homer. Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, which is the bus with Gremlin.
The bus Gremlin.
And Bram Stoker's Dracula, so...
Okay, yeah.
Maybe the Dracula's the weakest there, but that's still close. You've then got number 5, The Shinin, Sound of Thunder. Which one was that? And Soil. Oh, sorry. The Shinin, Time and Punishment, and Nightmare Cafeteria. 6 was.
Yeah, but I mean, Nightmare Cafeteria is a bit crap. I feel like that's what I mean. I feel like there might be 3 good ones, but you're sort of thinking, well, if I've got to pick, then I can pick one that's not as good. Whereas now it's like all 3 are okay, and there's one there's one that's good.
Yeah, and like we've got I think you're right actually. Now I look at it, number 7, The Thing and I, Hugo, Genesis Hub, which we didn't rate. and Citizen Kang, which is of course a great one, but then we go back to the Genesis Tub not being great, the one with the fly. And again, the episode before that, Attack of the 50-Foot Eyesores. I remember you're not the biggest fan of that, which again could be referenced as more of a sci-fi tale.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace and Homer Cubed, which we like. So again, it's 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3. We're now down to say 1 out of 3, 1 out of 3. And as we look, go on.
Just finish point. I've just found something interesting though. That I'm gonna tell you about in a second.
Over it.
So I was just massively skipping ahead because I just happened to have the Disney Plus page up of the Simpsons in front of me. So I skipped to season. I won't say how far it went. So basically how long we'll be able to do this. Season 34 is up there. Episode 6 of season 34 is Treehouse of Horror 33. The annual Halloween themed Treehouse of Horror 33.
Yep, I'm looking at it now.
Episode 5.
Oh yeah.
Is called Not It. A young Homer and friends are tormented by a killer clown. That is just
it.
That is just an It parody as a separate standalone episode.
And there's part 2. They've done it's a full-on special.
Wow. By looking at it there.
Oh my god, they did the Babadook. The Pookadook.
Yeah, that's in the Halloween special, isn't it?
This is how out of it I am. I had no idea these existed.
I've looked at a Wikipedia list to find what was sort of in store for us because I could only remember up to maybe one segment from 12. But yeah, that is. Wow. So I knew there was a Babadook segment, but that looks like a Halloween episode outside of a.
That's an
outside of a treehouse.
Yeah,
that's just an It parody. It's on its own completely. So that's
here we go.
So maybe when we get up there, we're gonna have an extra episode to look at.
Yeah, weird. It's not like it's classed. It's not like it's been classed as a standalone special. It still says season 34, episode 5. It's just called Not It. It's not called. It's not even. That's not even the subtitle. It's just
no. That's the name of the episode. And it reads as an It parody, and then the following episode is the Treehouse of Horror special as we know it. So that is effectively 2 Halloween episodes for that season for some reason. I wonder if they've done that anywhere else. It might be worth just having another look at some of the other series just to see if they've squeezed in another random horror episode somewhere.
Apparently, what they've said here is they realised that the time constraints by making it a 6-minute parody prevented adaptation, so they decided to make a full parody episode. They decided to make a full parody episode under the Treehouse of Horror brand. But did they? I don't know if it.
Oh, of course. Right. Okay. Season 31.
Yeah.
Episode 4. Treehouse of Horror 30. The 666th episode of The Simpsons parodies spooky favourites. Episode 8. Thanksgiving of Horror. 3 Tales of Thanksgiving Terror. So we have a Thanksgiving Halloween episode.
Okay, we need to do some research so we don't miss any. Okay.
We do need to have a look at it in more close detail.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay. All right. That's plenty to look at in the future.
There we go.
So yeah, to sum up, these were not good. You've wasted about 2 hours just listening to this. So thanks. Thanks for that.
There's plenty more to come.
Plenty more gold like this to come in the future. So yeah, next time we do this will be on 11 and 12.
Yes.
Treehouse 11 and 12. But next time will be, if you're still here by the way, will be June/July's 2 films under. We already have 1 film for the episode, which is 2019's Polaroid. See if you can watch it yourself, folks, and see what you think. And we will have another film picked within the next week.
We might reveal that on the socials, or we might just save it for the episode.
Oh yeah, we could just save it for the episode. Yeah, surprise you, but we'll see. Yeah, so check us out on Spotify, Apple, Google is disappearing soon. Google Podcast disappearing. It's merging into YouTube, I believe. Need to look into that. Basically, just search the Dreadcast. We're starting to become more higher up on the search results. Like if you just go to the Google, if you're not aware of Google, folks, it's a big search engine. You type in the Dreadcast, not the Dreadcats.
I have heard.
And
Google.
There we are, right at the top. So, yeah, you'll find us on all the main audio services that you can find us, and YouTube, obviously, and on all social medias, apart from Facebook and all the other TikToks. But I'm very tired. TikTok, Twitter, and the Insta. Yeah, on
the Insta-tubes. We're on the Insta-tubes, folks.
We're on the Instatoks.
Oh, your kids with your tick tubes and Instatoks.
I don't know.
Right, shall we wrap this up?
I don't know what they're talking about these days.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Please like and share. Tell your friends. Check out our past episodes. And, stick with us for future horror content. Until next time.
Right here with Tom and Dragon.
Bye. Bye.